Hi, this is Shadi. Judo is a very academic space. Everything you do, from attempting to throw, studying technique, etc., it's all in a goal of learning. Yes, a lot of you train to be champions, but at the same time, everything you're doing, there is a space for learning, and that learning cannot take place when everything is at a 100% pace and intensity. Do you go every time to the gym and test your 1 rep max? Absolutely not. That would be ridiculous. So today we're going to be looking at a little bit of how Kyuzo Mifune trained, and you're going to see the pace. Obviously, you're not going to be doing this every time and all the time. Maybe with age, yes, but this is a very important methodology of training. But before we do all of that, guys, now, if you want and you cannot, for example, support me every month on Patreon, you can purchase some posts that you like these full seminar of Fabio or how to with my teacher, 7th degree black belt. And of course, don't forget to check out my linked book below, The Origins and History of Judo, a translation of a manuscript from 1903, available in French and English. So let's take a look at Mifune here, still rocking a very good physique at a very old age. Here, the French, I believe, journalist who's also a judoka. I'll leave the video in the description below. So here you see tying his red belt, about to go to war, and you're gonna see the intensity. So there's a lot of things that should be done. You should let your partner work while at the same time you work on your defense and you work on your entry, work on your timing. You have to take all of these into consideration. Now people just get super strong, and here you can see the hip defenses, moving in circles and placing himself properly. Now we're going to see examples of this at high level competition. I'll show you in a second. Here you can see the hip defenses as they turn, and he lifts his leg and points his hips to the other side rather than just facing the direction of the throw. This is crucial, and you will see this. And here he works on his timing, how to throw. Let's take a look at Ono Shohei against Maeda, a much larger opponent. Pulls him in, Kuzushi. So here he pulls big Kuzushi, turns, and then launches the leg. Look at Ono, how he faces his hips the other side and lifts his leg, completely escapes. And here 1, 2, 3, and as he tries to counter, look, he almost took him down. And so let's take a look at it again. He rotates him around in circles. So here feints the first Osoto, feints the second one, and now Maeda is trying to follow. And here he tries to counter, but Ono removes and tries to finish with a hand technique. Look at Maeda, completely lost his balance, a much larger and stronger one. And here, look at this foot posting and stepping aside to Seoi. All this needs work in randori, but at a particular intensity that will allow you to learn and help your body memorize. Here you can also stack someone when they're attempting a Seoi Nage here. Work on your timing. He really loved that technique. And here he goes for Kata Guruma, moves to the side and stacks him. Proceeds to work in Newaza. Again, Newaza, same thing. You have to work on your escapes at the same time. Let your opponent or partner work on their escapes. Also work on maintenance. Nothing's too forced, otherwise no one will learn anything. Again, competition class is competition class, but all the rest is important, that you come out, first of all, good enough to come back the next day. Like in Kodokan, for example, I'll tell you later about my experience, and also come out with something new that was learned. So here from Maruyama's Patreon, I highly recommend if you can afford it. He's putting some gold in there. So here, look at how he pushes with the shin and then helps himself to go round and steps across. So there's these, for example, you're not gonna just try it the moment a guy goes 100% for it. You're gonna need a randori where the first 2 minutes they attack, the second 2 minutes you attack, and it's up to you to defend and place yourself properly. And there's no, ripping fingers with grip fighting, none of that. There is academic randori, and here also you can stack, and otherwise you will not progress. All these things, like you see all this Japanese footage of them in Tenri just blasting it, but that's not the only thing they do. Obviously, they're not gonna show you stuff that you're gonna think it's boring or not spectator friendly, as they say. Here you can see again more hip defenses. You saw how much larger Maeda was than Ono, and Ono skillfully defended. Of course, this is not the first time he's done it or learned about it through sheer brutal randori. There's a time for everything. This David Goggins stuff that you see all the time. First of all, burning the candle at both ends is absolutely absurd. Nobody does that. That's why you have people 27, 28, steel plates in their legs. They can't move their shoulders. They have to retire young. The whole thing. So in Kodokan, I was training 5 to 6 times a week, and I would return the next day like nothing had happened. It was a very academic place. The randori pace was amazing. Unless I go, let's say, to a high school or a university, then yes, the pace would change. Or Saturday night at Kodokan, some competitors would come in and the pace obviously picks up. So, but the rest of the week, it was very good. The most improvement I made was at Kodokan, and not when I was training in high school or the universities where they were just mopping the floor with me, because you're not going to learn anything with this intensity. Sure, it will prepare you for competition for sure, but you have to have something that you learned in order to take the competition also as well. So this is a very important thing to be taking into consideration. And here, learn from Mifune. He was not called the god of judo for nothing. Look at just how he worked around everything that was given to him, and at the same time, just how graceful it is. You want to be doing this at an old age. Look at Akimoto and Justin Flores doing randori in Kodokan. Most of the time, this is what your pace should be. And again, competition class is competition class, no doubt, but burning the candle at both ends all the time. Again, you don't go to the gym and do your 1 rep max every single time. That's just crazy. So if you have anything to add, let me know down below. Don't forget to check out the links and my book. This was Shadi, and thank you for listening.